Thank you very much. Comrade Chairman, Secretary General, executives of the Trade Union Congress, comrade workers from all over the country, friends, invited guests. On the occasion of the celebration of May Day, I wish to salute all workers of Ghana and at the same time place on record the appreciation of a grateful nation to you for the sacrifices and contributions you have made to nation building. I personally recognize and respect the contribution workers have made to our economic growth and social transformation in the recent past. And I have made this manifest in the kind of healthy relationship I have forged with organized labor over the years. I'm satisfied with the level of mutual cooperation existing between my administration and organized labor, irrespective of the recent tensions and disagreements that are arising from time to time. It is my pledge to make a conscious effort to deepen this cooperation and to advance the cause of a better Ghana while reducing frictions and misunderstandings that might give rise to unnecessary agitations. As a government, we share a common bond with organized labor. It is a bond based on the principle of love for work, a deep sense of joy derived from a job well done, and the commitment to bequeath a better world to our children and the generations yet unborn. Fellow workers of Ghana, as has been stated by the Secretary General, the theme for this year's May Day celebration is pension. It is your right and your responsibility. Before I proceed, I wish to acknowledge with gratitude the immense contribution which our pensioners of old have made to bring our country this far. Most of them have spent their youthful years as farmers, as teachers, as health workers, as artisans, drivers, secretaries, administrative assistants, directors, security personnel, messengers, among several others, to support our efforts towards national development. It is a matter of grave concern to me that many pensioners reportedly face difficulties in accessing their pensions. Some efforts have been made to address this, and I have tasked the relevant ministries and departments to intensify efforts at improving the processing and delivery time for paying out pensions. Fellow workers, pension is your right, and as a firm believer in social democracy, we will always support and promote your right to adequate retirement benefits. Pension is your right, not because it sounds like a nice slogan, but because the monies paid to you upon your retirement are in reality part of your own income that was deferred to protect you at old age and in your retirement years. The recent shift to a three-tier pension system is to create space for diversification of sources of retirement benefit. Under the current three-tier system, all workers who meet specific contributory requirements to Tier 1, which is the SNIT scheme, will receive monthly pension benefits from the day they retire to the day they die. All workers are also mandated to make contributions to what we call Tier 2, which is managed by private sector pension investors, such as fund managers, custodians, and trustees. These investors are allocated 5% of your salary deducted at source to invest, in anticipation that upon retirement, these investors to whom your fund was entrusted will pay you the accumulated contributions plus accrued interest, but minus operating costs. The third layer of our pension system is the third tier, tier 3. This tier operates on the same principle, except that it is not mandatory, it is not compulsory. It is an entirely voluntary tier. Government, as employer of the largest number of our formal sector workers, will scrutinize and regulate the operations of the private sector actors entrusted with your contributions, with the singular purpose of ensuring your right to adequate and interest-yielding pensions as protected and enforced. I wish to assure Comrade Kofi Asamoah that the concern he raised in respect of the companies that are selected to invest these funds will be looked into and corrected. Fellow workers, the number of persons covered by our pension is still too small. The large majority of our workforce ply their trade in the informal sector and therefore are not directly in the pensions net. We must work out strategies to expand the coverage in all of the 3 tiers of our pension system in order to bring in workers in the informal sector. This is one of the surest ways of ensuring that we guarantee the right to income security at old age for everyone. In the meantime, government wishes to assure the TUC that the issue of basic income grant raised in Comrade Kofi Asamoah's address is one that is central to the NDC's social democratic philosophy. It is an issue we will consider seriously. As indicated in our manifesto, the government intends to pilot the idea of social pension and roll it out fully depending on the analysis of studies from the pilot. It is one of the bases for the realignment and ongoing restructuring of the Ministry of Gender and Children to include social protection. In principle, therefore, government accepts the TUC's request. However, beyond the idea as stated by Comrade Kofi Asamoah, government anticipates that the TUC will submit an elaborate proposal on how the basic income grant or social pensions should be funded for our elderly population to benefit from such a program as soon as possible. Fellow workers, in his maiden May Day address in 2009, the late President Professor John Ivan Atta Mills of blessed memory emphasized government's commitment to improve the wages and salaries of Ghanaian workers by implementing the single spine salary framework, notwithstanding its fiscal implications. The implementation of the single spine pay policy has to a large extent addressed some iniquities and problems that hitherto were inherent in the previous salary scheme. And undoubtedly, it has increased exponentially the take-home pay for most workers in the public sector. We are all witnesses to the remarkable improvements that have been achieved through its implementation. Government, as an employer and the custodian of the national interest, expects that labor will reciprocate these increases in wages and salaries with higher levels of labor productivity, not with strikes and unbridled agitations. Indeed, there are some post-implementation challenges and outstanding issues which need to be addressed. Government concedes this. These issues include the issue of market premium, about which a white paper has just recently been issued, Category 2 and 3 allowances, and the issue of Article 71 office holders. Government expects nothing less than the cooperation of workers and organized labor and key actors in the public sector to collectively iron out these remaining challenges. I expect that the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations will facilitate an all-inclusive public forum to thoroughly review the implementation of the single spine pay policy so as to rectify anomalies and defects in the policy and improve upon its implementation by the end of May, June this year. It is my expectation that organized labor will work together with us to achieve consensus on this matter. Fellow workers, it is normal to anticipate competitive demands for a fair share of labor's due for contributions to the sustenance of the economy. And so it is to be expected that once a while, some among our labor force would want to draw the employer's attention to their concerns in public agitations to enlist the support of the broad masses of our people. Recent events on the labor front, however, raise a number of concerns that require sober reflection. In my inaugural address earlier this year, I extended a hand of partnership to all individuals, groups, and organizations in Ghana to join in building our country. In line with this principle, I ensured that appointments to offices of services in government go beyond simple party political thinking to include persons from diverse demographic, economic, social, political, and gender backgrounds. If Ghana is to make the progress we all anticipate it would, if we must bequeath a better nation to the next generation, then organized labor must look beyond self-centered agitations involving salaries and allowances alone and come to the table with ideas, proposals, and suggestions about how we can collectively address challenges facing the less fortunate and unorganized masses in our society. While government will always prioritize and protect organized labor rights to industrial action, government has a duty to protect the machinery of state and public service delivery. Strike actions are an absolute last resort. They must not be an option of first resort. We must turn to strikes only when everything else has failed. Let us all play by the rules. While various professional groups have an eye on issues of remuneration in respect of their individual organizations, as President, I have sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution and the national interest. This includes preserving and protecting the national economy. From where I sit, I have a bird's eye view of the larger picture and have a responsibility to prevent the public sector wage bill from spiraling out of control. Any dislocation of our macroeconomic environment will hit workers hard and our ordinary citizens in the same vein. I have asked the CRC, Constitutional Review Commission Implementation Committee, to speed up work, especially on the amendment of Article 71, in order to bring everyone from the President right down to the lowest laborer onto a single emolument system. This will ensure fairness and sustainability. Comrades and friends, government pays salaries from taxes and revenues that we raise. In order that government can continue to pay a decent wage, I urge organized labor to join us as partners in increasing the tax net and helping to raise revenues. It is only when we raise additional revenues that we can pay better wages and a living salary. I also call on organized labor to help us to prevent waste. Government is going to implement policies to cut down waste in the public sector, especially with the misuse of official vehicles. And I hope that when we implement these decisions, organized labor will stand by us. Government will take steps to correct any inefficiencies in the National Pension Regulatory Authority in order to achieve the objectives for which we undertook the pension reform. And here again, I hope the TUC and organized labor will support us in the next few weeks as we reform the National Pension Regulatory Authority. Comrades and friends, as we celebrate your contribution to our nation's progress, May I also remind you that as workers, you are and will remain an important social partner in the transformation process of our country. The burden of this partnership requires that we all make appropriate sacrifices in the firm belief that our children deserve better. Our strength as a nation is intrinsically linked to the ability of all of us to set aside our egos and parochial agendas while working together in an effective and productive manner. Let me emphasize that labor laws are enacted to ensure orderly conduct of human affairs to prevent chaos, disorder, and arbitrariness. The democracy that we are implementing requires us to nurture democratic habits. This economy and our society, the economy and society are ours, and it is only we, the people of Ghana, resolving to cooperate in solving our differences that can build a future worth our efforts and sacrifices. Ghana is a country which cherishes the rule of law, and we must all uphold this virtue. Fellow Ghanaians, comrades and friends, as workers, we are at the threshold of making history, one that moves our country into a higher medical income bracket through your hard work. Let us work together and with understanding, make a history we can all be proud of. Long live the workers of Ghana, long live Ghana, long live our shared values, long live our dear nation. I thank you, and God bless us all.